Next to painting, one of the most affordable things you can do to upgrade your kitchen is tiling yourself your own backsplash. Not only will it upgrade the looks of your kitchen, it adds your own character and pizzazz. As you all know, I've been waiting to tile this for weeks, so I'm super excited to show you the basics of how to tile your own backsplash. And along the way, I'm going to tell you some of the things you need to watch for when doing this in your own home, especially if it's a mobile home. Pizzazz. So one of the things you need to do is lay out your tiles where you're going to be doing your backsplash. We've got this 60-inch section. I've already laid it out, installed my backer board, and done a layout, and then measured down to what I needed. And then relayed those out with some tape just to verify that those are the exact cuts, because I want this to be symmetrical. So for us, we're going to be working from the center out. You don't have to do it this way. You can go left to right, right to left. Just keep in mind, at one end, you're going to have cutoffs. We went for symmetry, so both ends will have cutoffs, but the whole thing will look centered from right here. Some of the things you need to watch out for when you do this in your home, especially in a mobile home. One, you should never place tile on your paneling like we have. That's because your paneling expands and contracts. Your mobile home shifts and moves. Your walls vibrate and you don't even know it. And all of those vibrations, expansion, contraction, and all that over time will eventually start to crack your grout or potentially have your tiles just fall down one day out of the blue. So you need to back it with something like 1/4 inch drywall, or in our case, we went with a 1/4 inch cement backer board. Another thing you need to watch out for, and this applies to all homes, you need to verify that it's flat along the wall. One of the worst things to do is tile a wall and you find out it's shaped like this or the opposite like this, and you've got all these tiles on. Then when you go to grout, your lines don't line up, and so you get this thin, fat, 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 thin, 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 or vice versa. Then it won't look right. And let me tell you, when your grout goes up, you'll notice it. It's horrible. What?
Nothing. That was a lot of info. I didn't even know.
Most people think this is extremely hard to do. This is probably one of the easier projects, DIY projects to do in your home. Honestly, you need some basic tools. The hardest part for a lot of people that they're scared about is cutting the tile. You can get yourself an inexpensive manual scoring tile cutter for these ceramic tiles that we've gone with. You can get yourself a diamond blade and cut it that way. Here's an example. Or you can always rent or buy yourself a tile wet saw. Sounds like a great reason to get yourself your own tiling wet saw. We decided to buy one because we're doing 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 different tile jobs, definitely 3. Plus, I can loan it to people who need to borrow it, all that other stuff. They're fairly inexpensive and they get the job done. But don't be intimidated by buying yourself one of the diamond cut blades that go in your grinder. It'll work just as well as when you're doing something like subway tile that's ceramic. This stuff is actually kind of brittle. It breaks easy, don't drop it. But it also scores really easy with the scoring tool and then snap. And those manual tools are $30 to $40 on everything from Amazon to running into your local hardware store. Super simple. Overall, this project, and I bought everything new just to show you. I have old tiling tools in a tote out there, Boo Boo. And yet, I'll probably use my old sponge for some of the cleanup work as I'm tiling, and the new sponge for the grout work so that I know I've got a crispy, clean new sponge when I do the grout. But even then, buying all of this brand new is only $150 total, including the tools, to get this done. One of the things you can do is to remember that ahead of time. The more prep work you do in advance, the faster and better and smoother your tiling job will go. Follow along as we begin to tile our backsplash, as you've all been waiting for. All right, let's do some work. We went with the premix stuff. It's literally smear it on, only do a section you can know you can do in about a 20-minute window, set your tiles. So I've already pre-laid out my center. Like I said, I'm working center out. The first row for me every single time is the row that goes along the countertop. You get the space behind the stove, just fill it with something that could be a ledger board as you start. We're going to come back after we've gotten all this done. We're going to take this off and lower it and finish at the back at the bottom below the stove. Industry standard is usually 1 to 2 below the bottom of the countertop. A margin float is handy because if you need to set things in these corners, as well as when it's grout time, it's going to help me get in here nice. Have one on hand if you can, although it isn't quite necessary. Your grout float is also going to be super important because you can use it to level multiple tiles, press them in, etc. Start by getting some mastic on the wall. No, bad fan, bad.
Are you gonna smear it? Oh.
Use the recommended trowel size for the tile you have purchased. Just about everywhere you purchase, there is somewhere that will recommend the size of the trowel you need for the notching. When spreading, you want to hear that. This way you know you don't get an area that's too lumpy, because then at that point you have a whole different situation that you're going to have to deal with, and it's going to be lumpy, too thick, that tile's going to stick out. You don't want that. We have countertops exposed. Let's see if we can take care of that problem. Here's something you don't want to forget. A little bit of tape.
Wife will all start laughing. I think you watch too many infomercials. Do I watch too many infomercials? I think you do. Oh, this stuff stinks. Smells good. Just a little bit, just a little bit. Back butter because I freaking can.
So I'm going to do this one really thin because I'm going to back butter the pieces instead. Because I like the way that feels right now. As I'm doing these, I get a little more time control just doing back butter. You've ever heard the term back butter?
No.
This is what it is. It's like putting the butter on the toast.
Yeah, I figured that out once I saw you doing that.
I'm gonna clear my line again. There she is. Oh, there she. Come here, line. Back butter. Start by just getting the pieces up quickly. Space them after. Now, technically, these are the type of tiles you could just run them together because they're pre-set with these little 1/16 of an inch spaces. But we wanted a slightly larger gap because we just didn't think that was enough to really show the grout that we're going to want. Honestly, for Subway, this is probably my favorite way to do it. Back butter. Seems quick. Now we can just come through and space everybody, starting from our middle again.
Up, up, up. Start middle. Space my way out. Squishy, 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 squishy. Ouch.
We have officially decided we need to install some pool noodles on the corner for me. Because I keep smacking my head. I'm going to have one headache when this is done. Okay. How was that for speed on 6 of them? What was the time?
4 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, we got it all tiled up last night and we've allowed it to sit for 24 hours. The adhesive does require between 24 and 72 hours to cure before you grout. It's now time to move on to the grouting phase. Do remember when you're cutting your tiles to wear any safety equipment like safety glasses. Also, if you're ever going to use a wet tile saw, I got soaked. It was great. Not really, but it was definitely a free bath that I wasn't looking for. Maybe an apron or something like that that would just shed the water. Third thing, one thing I forgot to mention earlier. If you're going to be putting tile on a textured and painted drywall wall, give that a rough sand first with something like 60 or 80 grit sanding block. It just guarantees more that your adhesive will stick to the wall as well as to your tiles. All right, let's move on with the grouting procedure. It's actually quite simple. We went with platinum, which is like a super, super, super light gray, like almost invisible. So, procedure for this, you're going to need your grouting sponge, your grouting trowel. This is sandless because we have thinner gaps. So, see? Always nice to have a little wet rag on hand. Use your margin trowel. Get some of that good stuff on there. Just start squishing her in. And so you just use your margin trowel and just start working it and getting it on the surface. I'll start working it with this guy. And when you're working it, you want to work it in all sorts of different directions. 45s, up and down, left and right. Get yourself some tape on the edges like we've got here. This specific grout says to work 5 to 10 feet at a time. We barely have 5 feet altogether.
I had to wait for it to dry.
No. Wait for it to dry. No, you start working it off. Which we're going to go old sponge, then new sponge, actually. You got your bucket of cool water. You just start taking the extra off. This is literally what you do. Taking the extra off. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit up here. A lot of extra up here, huh? Got a little crazy, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to press anything out of the grooves. I'm just dragging it across. Just letting these pores do their thing. Dragging it across. Now that I got that a lot smoother, we'll go with this awesome new sponge. Ooh, just slides right across with that. Wow, it's like magic. Whole different ball game with this sponge.
It's a sponge.
And start working it in a circular. A little bit here. A little bit up here. Okay, after you've gotten all your grout removed, you gotta let it sit for 3 to 4 hours. There will be a haze. If you get the haze and have the haze on the tile, don't panic. That's normal. It happens with like every grout I've ever seen. You get yourself a terry towel. Would you mind, my love? That's a microfiber. Use a terry towel, buff them out, microfiber to finish it off. If that still doesn't work for some reason and you still have a haze, they do have grout haze removers you can get. So we did not put any grout along there or along the edges because we picked up the matching silicone that literally matches the grout, because you want to put silicone along these for water resistance reasons. And then we're going to put it along that edge and that edge and that edge and that edge, and oops, I banged the thing. When it comes time to finish off your boxes, if you did not pull your box out or did not have the type that could come to the surface, get yourself some electric box extenders. So probably tomorrow or something, I'm going to turn off the power, remove the plug, put the extender in, put us a brand spanking new bright white plug and bright white cover, and that'll be all wrapped up. What do you guys think? Does it look better? Mind-blowing. How do you like it, love? What do you think after at first you were really skeptical?
I like it now a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Unfortunately, it's so white, nice, new, and clean, it makes our stove look even more horrible. We knew it was bad, but yeah, it's even worse now. Again, like we've said before, we're replacing this stove. It's going to go stainless. So eventually, yes, we've basically started saving up for one. So also, while I've got you here, we're going to be doing a live show on Saturday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Love it if you could show up. We understand if it's not your thing and you don't want to. We will be turning that live into a video afterwards. We've already gotten some questions, and we're going to start with those. And then as you guys come trickling in, however it is, feel free to toss questions in at us. We'll have you do like a QQQ and then the question, so then we understand that it's a question and not just a hey from somewhere so and so.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, but this is where hopefully you can see the quiet type over here, maybe say a few things other than, uh-huh.
Dumb.
As usual, we love the comments. Let us know what you think. I know this was a little more how-to based, maybe not as fun as usual, but I really wanted to make sure that you all understand. Doing a tile backsplash is truly not that difficult. Just be aware of certain things you need to watch out for, especially if you're in a mobile home. This is an exterior wall. I guarantee you that paneling that's on the wall will expand and contract. Don't just throw it directly on there. I've seen people do that and it didn't survive just a couple years. So put up something like 1/4 inch drywall or 1/4 inch backer board, or remove the paneling altogether and maybe drywall. It's all up to you guys. So, anything to say, sugar boogers?
No.
Hope to see you all on Saturday. And remember to tell yourself, I can fix that.
Okay.